find it just as fun. And when you launch off lights, it's even more fun. That was perfectly legal, by the way. So. Morning, everybody. How is everybody's day? Quick one. I wanted to do a Rob Walks the Dog, but currently Storm Barra is battering the UK, and there will be no point me trying to do a Rob Walks the Dog because one, the dog will be flying like a kite, and two, you wouldn't be able to hear me over the wind noise. So I'm now trying out some new mics. Hopefully you'll be able to hear them pretty well, and they'll also get rid of some of the road noise. But there isn't actually that much road noise in this car. We'll see whether it gets worse, better or different when we get onto the motorway. So it's been a while since I caught up with you guys, so I thought I owe you this little follow-up because, well, as I said, it's been a while. There's a lot of broken trees around here. Oh dear. Alright. Yeah, the last few weeks have been incredibly busy for me during the final weeks of the year. Always is in my job. I'm not going to say what my job is or go into the details. It's incredibly busy and incredibly stressful. And there has been some car news. Last time I spoke to you, I had an Audi, and I was going to go back to an EV, and I did. I went back to a Skoda Enyaq for a grand total of 4 weeks. That's because the Audi, I kept the Audi for 5 months when it should have only been 3 months. I then got the Enyaq I was supposed to get, obviously 3 months in, and so I only had about a month of it left. I still managed to put 2,500 miles on it. It was, I love Enyaqs, I really do. But following that, I had to hand that back to get this. This is my ID4. This is the first ID4 I've ever owned. We've had ID5s, which are the coupe version of this, but not an ID4. This is the same 286 brake horsepower motor that was in the Enyaq, same 77 kilowatt hour usable battery which was in the Enyaq. This does charge a bit quicker. It doesn't have quite as many gadgets as the Enyaq. There's no electric seat. There's no traffic jam assist, but it still has adaptive cruise control. It is still a very, very nice, very quick car. Now I'm just going to head into the tailwind first. Head into the headwind first, tailwind on the way back. So I got this middle of November, and then 5 days after I got it, I went down to Silverstone to meet Tim and everybody from Garage 23, guys who I raced, guys who I tested the Audi TT and the BMW 1 Series Super Cup cars. They have a new car which was the DS3 Cup car. I had a go in that. The onboards are on the Rob Chalmers onboard channel, and then I headed home in this, and I went to charge it, and there was a fault, and I got given a hire car. The hire car happened to be possibly the worst hire car in the world. Now that is not a dig at the hire car company, it's more of a dig at BMW, because it was a Mini. Now, for those of you who don't know, BMW owns Mini. Now, hilariously, it was a 2022 Mini Cooper exclusive, 5-door and in metallic beige. It had heated leather seats, and yeah, it was. Now, if it's 5-door, I class that as it needs to be practical. And if it's supposed to be practical, then you should be able to do things like put car seats in the back, because it has ISOFIX in the back, but you couldn't actually fit an ISOFIX car seat behind me as a driver. And I am not the leggiest person. I am 5'9", and even with me setting my driver's seat as I would normally, pretty close to the steering wheel, I couldn't actually get a ISOFIX car seat in the back. I also couldn't sit behind myself in the back. That's how tiny the back was. The boot was hilarious. For those of you who know what an IKEA cube is, I was supposed to be moving my daughter and I could only fit 2 IKEA cubes in the actual boot of this Mini. Now, you may think I'm being harsh, but on this little 1.5, 130-ish brake horsepower, 5-door, hatchback, small car, thing is, it's not actually that small. And I know this because it was sat on my driveway next to another 5-door, 130 brake horsepower hatchback with a 1.5 engine, which was my missus's Golf, which I had to use for my daughter moving because, well, it actually has a functioning boot, and I know in fact we could have a ISOFIX car seat in because it has an ISOFIX car seat in it, and yeah, it's a functioning car, whereas the Mini just wasn't. Anybody, also, side note, everybody slags off the ID's functionality on the software. If you have used the BMW iDrive system and you are not, even if I lived with it for roughly a week and I still hated it. It was not intuitive, whereas I find the ID insanely intuitive and I get on with it very easily. Not a problem indeed. Now I'm going to come off of this motorway junction. Bear with me. It is insanely windy, and I don't know if you can pick this up on the camera, but I'm actually blown from lane to lane. Not like that. Chance will be a fine thing. Right, moving on. So where was I? Oh yeah, so I got then, after a week or so of driving the Mini and having crippling back pain, because the ride was so unbelievably harsh. And I mean, I'm used to driving race cars. I'm used to doing hour and 40-minute stints in a go-kart with no suspension. I found that car insanely harsh. It was overly stiff, and you can tell that because I had 35 to 40 psi in the tyres, and I still felt the tyres give before the actual suspension gave. When you had a decent suspension input, you'd hear, or you'd pretty much feel the knock of the actual alloy hitting the ground or the ridge of the impact rather than the suspension giving. So after the Mini, I got this back. And to be honest, I felt like I was having some kind of out-of-body experience. Yes, the Mini did sound very nice, and yes, it did stick to the road like shit to a blanket. I'm not going to deny that. And yes, it was a little bit fun. But also, I got in this, and every time I get in this car, it's comfortable. It's more than quick enough. And to be honest, on a back road, I find it just as fun. And when you launch off lights, it's even more fun. That was perfectly legal, by the way. That was not me speeding at all. So I'm just going to go back down onto the M62. What was I going to say? See, that's a brief catch-up. Looking ahead, I'm just going to go around with this person. You can't see who I'm just overtaking, but it looks like a police car. Set the speaker. Okay, so where was I? So yes, looking ahead to what I'm going to be doing. In the next week, this car is going to do a lot of miles. It's going to be doing a full week's commute, followed by Sunday it's going to go from where we are near Warrington all the way up to Edinburgh and back in a day, which is basically 500 miles in a day. So that's going to add a bit of trouble. Remember when everybody says, oh, EVs can't do distance? Well, that's going to be kindly shoved out the window. For the last 2 years we've done that distance. this year we're going to do it again because it's family and we have to. Then the following Wednesday, which hopefully I'm trying to get this released as quick as I can. The Wednesday before Christmas, we are going to stress test the whole EV experience. I'm not going to give away too many details, but just let me tell you that it's going to be a stress test. You may have seen on the community section me posting a little picture which includes P&O ferries. So I'm fairly certain some of the intelligent ones of you may have figured out that this might be an international journey. I'm going to leave it there because I'm giving too much away, but I'm going to stress test the EV experience. Yeah, because a friend of mine wants to go and get hot chocolate. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, if you have been, thank you for watching. I'm going to get out of the fast lane and actually go across the lane I should be in now that I've finished overtaking people. And I'm just going to, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.